Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Chances are you haven't heard of Isabella Chow. She is a student at University of California, Berkeley, and she is a student senator at the university. And if you haven't heard of her, let's just listen to her really quick pitch to be a senator. Let's roll the clip.
My name is Isabella Chow, and I'm running to be your next ANCC senator. I was homeschooled all my life before coming to Berkeley, and ever since middle school, I've dreamt about pursuing a career in government. After interning in local offices, propositions, and even Congress in DC, I realized today that government isn't just for grown-ups. Government begins with you and me, right here on our Berkeley campus. It's not just about fluffy ideas and vain promises. It's about tangible change and responsible policies that will make Berkeley a healthier, happier home for every single student. Check out my platforms in the links below and vote Chow now.
Vote Chow now. So she was voted in, and things seemed to be good until she decided that she was going to come out basically against the LGBTQ plus community. And so I'll play that clip now for you as well. As you can clearly see, let's see if we can actually get it to play for us. But yeah, basically things have just kind of fallen apart, I would say, for her when this happened.
Last week's Senate agenda appeared to be business as usual, but this week's meeting was anything but normal. After making anti-LGBTQ plus statements last week, ASUC Senator Isabella Chow met with backlash. It was standing room only in the Senate chambers. Supporters of Chow and a vast majority of protesters spoke. ASUC tells us that over 100 public comments were made in the span of 3 hours.
Then maybe the senators who are sitting here right now too can as well. We should not be the only ones demanding for your peer who said these things going against the ACC Constitution. I am ashamed of Bell sitting here who have not denounced her.
A petition circulated prior to the
So obviously, people are really pissed off at Isabella Chow, and I would say rightfully so. So I'm just going to read a little bit about Isabella Chow, and I heard about this when I was on Fox News, of all places, because I think Fox News is supporting her. Fox News' headline is Christian Student Senator at UC Berkeley harassed for abstaining from a pro-LGBTQ vote. This is written by Mr. Caleb Park at Fox News, so you can only imagine some of the things. So Isabella Chow, she's the daughter of Malaysian-Cambodian immigrants. She's double majoring in business administration and music, and she told Fox News that she abstained from a largely symbolic vote that took place at the end of October because she did not fully agree with certain clauses, not the majority of the pro-LGBTQ plus bills, which passed from the support of 18 of the 20 senators, another being absent. So outside of the one senator being absent, she was the only senator who voted against these pro-LGBTQ plus bills. And from that, she was basically labeled as homophobic and transphobic. As you heard earlier during that Senate air quotes meeting, the Queer Alliance Resource Center, or QARC, was pretty much leading the charge, I would say, and denouncing Isabella Chow's stance. And to that, she basically tried to defend herself, and QARC was reportedly asked by the student body, or reportedly asked the student body, to condemn the Trump administration's proposed definition of sex under Title IX. And if you remember, I talked about this a few weeks ago, the science of sex and phenotypes and genotypes, and how you could still be feel like you're a female even though genotypically you are a male, and vice versa. There is science that clearly backs this up, and why Trump is trying to, reverse these sorts of things is beyond me. If only he and people around him were looking at the science behind these things, there wouldn't be any issue in the case. So anyway, Chow probably needs to do a little bit of research as well. Chow's former party, Student Action, left her with the decision to fully support the bills and LGBTQ lifestyle or get ousted. And basically, she said, no matter how difficult this has been, if I don't represent the Christian perspective, the minority perspective, there won't be anyone to represent these views. I'm doing this for the Christian community. I know that I was called for such a time as this. Backing down is not an option, especially when backing down means giving into political pressure and political correctness. And in her statement, Chow said discrimination is never ever okay and condemned Christian bullies and bigots, calling the LGBTQ community valid and loved, even if their views were different. And she basically put out a whole statement on Facebook, which I will not read, but basically Fox News is pretty much giving you all the quotes. That said, I cannot vote for this bill without compromising my values and my responsibility to the community that elected me to represent them. As a Christian, I personally do believe that certain acts and lifestyles conflict with with what is good, right, and true. I believe that God created male and female at the beginning of time and designed sex for marriage between one man and one woman. For me, to love another person does not mean that I silently concur when at the bottom of my heart I do not believe that your choices are right or the best for you as an individual. And to me, it's one thing to have those beliefs. It's one thing to, grow up believing that the Christian view is the right view. I've grown up believing that the Christian view is the right view. I grew up believing that, people in the LGBTQ community were wrong. But you grow up that way because those are the values that you are just simply handed down. It's almost like genetics. You're handed down. These things are imprinted on you, that certain things, certain lifestyles are inherently wrong because for the past 2,000 years, they were not accepted. They were frowned upon. They were demonized. They were written in the Bible as being, just an utter disgrace to God in his eyes. But many people use that same thing to justify the slavery of black people and the slavery of anybody. They use the Bible and they use the religion and they've used Christianity to validate slavery. So when I look at people that say these same things about marginalized people, like people in the LGBTQ community, who we do not fully understand the science behind the genotypes and the phenotypes and the actual reasons why people feel the way they feel, even if they are born with a penis or born with a vagina, I cannot help but feel like we as Christians are setting ourselves up to be on the wrong side of history yet again. That being said, we do have our values. We do have our beliefs. But if your beliefs contradict you being equal and treating people equal and fair and looking at science and saying, okay, this is the scientific evidence that there are people out there that could be born with a penis and still have the hormones of a female and thus should be treated fairly and equitably, if your religious views contradict pure understandable science, then you really need to question whether you should be in a position to make decisions on behalf of other people, whether it be in a university setting or the setting of an entire country or the world. I really do think that we Christians are becoming more marginalized, and we knew that this was going to happen. But at the same time, we cannot allow our marginalization to lead us to be demonized. We can still think, what would Jesus do? And would Jesus marginalize these people? Or will he say, I understand you, I am going to work with you, and we will find a way? He, I believe, would accept them. He would sign the pro-LGBTQ. And that's just me talking. I'm not a pastor. I'm not reading through the scriptures. Talk to your local pastor and speak about these things. But I truly do believe in my heart of hearts that reading what I've read about Jesus and who he associated with, he would not agree with what Chow is doing. In my point of view, we have gotten to a point of mainly just religion and using our religion to base our decisions off of, and I just don't think that's the right thing to do. I would love to know what everyone else is thinking, but those are my thoughts. I support Senator Chow, but I support her leaving the Senate and probably not pursuing a career in politics. Obviously, she's aligned herself with Democrats, but I think she's probably got more conservative viewpoints. But yeah, it's gonna get hard. It's gonna get hard for us as Christians. We talk about things on where do you compromise? Where do you say, okay, these are my views, but this is what's happening. And this is just one of those really tough subjects. We've seen it with the baker in Colorado that would not bake a cake for a gay couple. We've seen it with the county clerk in Kentucky who just got ousted, who would not grant a marriage license to a gay couple. We're seeing it over and over again. There are people that are standing up for their values, and I do not think that it is wrong to stand up for what you believe in. But when you're standing up for something that you believe in and it's at the behest or at the disadvantage for another group of people, I just automatically synonymize that with what happened with slavery and with Jim Crow laws, and how religion was basically used to justify many of those things as well. And that just doesn't sit right with me. So I would love to know what you all think, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Peace out.